What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading Investing. Wherever you are in the world right now, I'm glad that we're all here together. It's actually going to be a fantastic session. We're going to be looking at a lot of trading over here. We're going to be going through all of FX. We're going to start off with the equity markets. We're looking at Bitcoin right now. By the way, as we start here with Bitcoin, let me just bring something to your attention really quick, as we are in a little bit of resistance right now as we speak. What do I mean by that? Is it a big level? Is it something I'm worried about? Let's look at all of that together. First, let me start off by saying it's not something I'm worried about at all, but nevertheless, it's there, and I want to show it to you and just bring it to your attention. If I go like this, right? Because this is, by the way, it was asked already, is that a retest and resumption? I mean, yeah, this is conquering the markets all day long. We were focused on this resistance level that had a few different touches to it. It's broken out to the upside, and then we've come in for the retest and is now resuming off. Quite healthy. What's not healthy, though, right now, though, you could see that if you look over here on the right, you see Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, EOS. Nothing else is really contributing to this rally. Chainlink down almost 5%. It's Bitcoin leading the way on its own. Of course, you'd like to see all of the crypto markets participating together. Bitcoin alone, though, on price alone, looking very good over here. If I'm going to just take this up for 1 second, and then I'm going to put it back for you. So I'm going to just go ahead and bring this line up. These lines, by the way, I'll zoom out in a second, are just cloned trend lines of our prime line right there, right? So you can see right here, right? Do you see that one touch? Do you see two touch? Do you see three touch? Do you see four touch? Do you see this is then resistance? That was all support. That's resistance. And you see, again, we're at that resistance right now. So it's just a level that we're at right here. I'm actually putting this back down right now to where I have the bigger line. And these little fractals of trend lines play out all throughout well, everywhere. I'm going to go back to the 3-day really quick. This is that prime trend line over there. This is that prime trend line. And you could see that this is this line clone, that line clone, that line clone. And I have these cloned all the way up here because they're going to become relevant resistance as we go higher and as we're making new all-time highs. But right now, I just wanted to show you that, look, there's light resistance right there. It's a light level, though. It's a light level. All right, let's take this out. Let me look at the indexes first. Let me look at the dollar, get into gold and silver, and then I want to look at everything that we had flagged yesterday before we get into the rest of the markets over here. We'll start here with the S&P 500. And you could see over here that, let me zoom out a little bit, zoom in a little bit, right? S&P 500. Oh, I thought I had, I did have this marked. My computer crashed, resetted. It's not there anymore. I was looking at this possible, right? I was looking at this possible bull flag developing over there. You could see that we've come off, right? This is Asia, London giving a possible entry signal right there. Right? So you could be long right now on the S&P's 500. Now, before we start talking about the equity markets, before we start talking about the stock markets, do understand that there is a high impact news event today. What is that? That is the whole stimulus deal or no deal. And you know why it does not look like there'll be any actual stimulus before the election right now. Let's see what they work out and whether or not they work out something that will take place perhaps during the lame duck session. I don't know, but nevertheless, from a TA standpoint alone, this is an entry right over here. Entering this trade, I personally, because of what is going on today and the fact that we could see some type of turnaround Tuesday action, we could see, or is this because we're trading up turnaround Tuesday? Huh? How about that? I would have a tight stop. There's no question about it. What about on the Nasdaq? It's the same exact trade. Those are the two that we were looking at going into the session. You could see over here that you have, so this is, anyway, this is what it is. My computer just like, the MacBook gave me like some type of error. Press any key if you want to restart this on your own. I don't know. Here we are. Same thing. Nasdaq also gave a higher high there by about 1 point, it looks like to me. That's giving a possible entry. Yep, it gave it a total entry, about 5 points over there. Same exact thing. I would also have a very tight stop on this, right? All right. Nevertheless, if you took the trade, if you take enough of those over the course of a year, you're doing the right thing for sure. Let's see if we get some good news today. Let's see if this not only shoots up towards the resistance, but breaks out. Could be a phenomenal entry. Worth taking. I don't know that I would take it, but worth taking for sure. You still got the comment on the screen. Let me get rid of that. Boom. All right. Do I think I'm seeing I'm going to, so just a couple of things. Just let me all right, everyone, huddle up real quick as we get started this morning. By the way, if you're here, I'm not only glad for it, but please go ahead and smash that like button. Help the channel, help the algorithm know what's going on over here. Listen, but seriously, huddling up over here. This session is going to be highly informative because we're gonna cover everything we need to cover. I have a flight this morning, so it's going to be all about business. I'm not really going to be able to really, because of the my working conditions, the internet is not just. So I'm just going to focus on what's in front of me, make sure that we get what, the most important thing done. For low latency. Let's see if that helps. Oh, So I'm seeing people saying that the stream is gone. Some people can't see it. If you could see the stream right now, let me know. Everyone give someone a thumbs up. Caught in a loop. Raggy, that's hysterical, man. It helps, Yashin? All right. Perfect. All right, let's go. So, let's move over to the DXY now. DXY, a couple of things I want you to notice over here. We came into this bit of resistance. That is resistance. Let me go ahead and knock that over. Turn that to red. And we were rejected by that resistance, right? Price started making lower lows. And it came back right into the support, right? So we're still in no man's land. And when I say no man's land, you can see this line over here, right? You can see also this is the line that you all helped me add in over there. That a break above will set off a big counter trend at this point. This is weak, but it's in no man's land right now. A break back below into this channel, then I'll be targeting the lower end down over there of this trend line over there, which should be support. A break of that will send us to yearly lows. But right now, this is definitely bearish. It has a bearish tint, but we are still trading in no man's land. All right. So what else? Let's check out really quick. Gold probably doesn't need too much of our time, right? And when I say doesn't need too much of our time, because we're still consolidating inside this triangle over here, right? I'm going to just be able to be a little bit quick and get into the FX where there's a lot going on this morning. This is still consolidating, still waiting for that breakdown. We could get a big reaction today, whether there's deal or no deal. Gently touch that like button. I love it, Sprout. Do I think that the smart money strategy works? Gelson, we are the smart money. We are the smart money. There's Gelson, there has not been any other analysis that has been so sniper dead on all year long. And 2020 has been what a year with some substantial moves, whether you're talking about oil going negative, whether you're talking about the crash on the equity markets, we are the smart money, no question about that, not even close. All right, so silver also consolidating over here. You could see it happening over there. We're just waiting and waiting. Patience pays. All right, Jordan, FTW. All right, let's keep going over here. I'm going to keep going until we get to what we need to do. We are the smart money. No question about that. So we're going to get into FX, right? Everyone knows gold, silver, still waiting. We're still consolidating, trying to play the long side and short side while you're consolidating, and not only consolidating, while you're getting closer to the peak, the apex over here, where there's going to be a break one way or the other, is really not smart. That is really silly to be trying. You're going to get whipsawed around. It makes no sense. You're looking to enter trades, multiple support or resistance levels. Entering a trade inside consolidation is like handicapping yourself on purpose. All right? Do not do that. Do not do that. Stay aside. If you're like, I just need to trade gold, I need to trade silver. Okay, wait for the breakout. Wait for the breakdown. Right now, getting inside a trade would be handicapping yourself. We're not looking to do that. That's why coming last week, we said, well, Bitcoin looks good. And there you go. It's following through. All right. So what else? Let's go into FX right now. Let's start with the couple of things. Everything that we highlighted yesterday, let's review first. For the win. Nice. All right, here is the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the breakdown of these trend lines here. Breakdown of the trend line. Retest, that broken support became resistance, resumed down entry, right? Came into what was support, bounced, resumed down, and have now come up and tested that resistance again. This is set up for a short here. This is set up for a short here if you resume down and it looks good, okay? So I'm going to keep holding that yellow flagged over there. When the DXY is in no man's land, does it affect? Yes, it does. Great question, Kaya. The question is, if the DXY is in no man's land, does that affect my decisions on US dollar pairs? Yeah, I avoid them. Mostly. I mostly avoid them then. Here's on the Australian dollar, US dollar. Okay, we were talking, so we followed this also. We talked about over there into the retest, into the resistance. That was the entry. And then look, we talked about taking some profit, locking in your stop loss. I said if we break out of what looked like this bear flag yesterday in the live stream, that it's, you got to lock in your profit at this point. But this is a continuation pattern. We've broken down past it. We took out the support. That looks good. That's why you hold and push trades. Where's your goal right now if you're in that trade? I'm not. I wasn't looking for it. What would be your goal right now, or what's your next move right now? Well, first of all, you take your stop loss now from break even, and then you're moving it to lock in over here. Because if we trade back above that swing high, you're wrong. You exit the trade. Take a little bit more than profit now than break even. No problem, right? What else? Over here, over here was that last low over there. You're coming into it right now. Do you take profit there? No. Always looking to push levels. Right now, you've locked in your stop loss, right? Is it possible that we come back in and test that resistance, right? And it holds and resume down? That's what you're looking for. Or you're looking for further momentum. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. All right, this is setting up this. So every time I pull up a new chart, there's like I don't know if it's a 5 or 10 second lag. I'm just waiting for everything to pull up. You could see over here a couple of things happen. This is interesting for me to see over here. I was watching, if the price held up over here, that would have been the first place to look for a short. We were looking at this yesterday. Price was already trading above that level. And I said, I'm also looking in this area over here. If we come into that area for a short, remains the same. However, do notice this over there. Do you notice as we broke this resistance level that we've since come in and retested it and are resuming off of that, right? So there's no question about that. That's a bullish behavior. So this is mixed. I'm not looking for the long side. I said unless we get above this area over here, which like if there's some magical stimulus deal passed, or like maybe not even a deal, like it doesn't look like we'll see actually stimulus checks sent out before the election, but like if there's some type of deal met on both sides that the market is okay with, and we see some big follow through to risk off, yeah, we could blow through this level. If that happens, we're waiting for a retest and a resumption above here. I would be looking to go long. I'm still looking for a short over here into this area right now. Why? Because this was over here. This was an ascending triangle bearish pattern, broke down, coming up for the retest still right now. This is still, and also be aware though, follow this line up, right? If this line, which goes like this, right? Is it possible we come up a little bit further and are rejected here? Yeah, you got to be flexible. I'll be watching that. Let's see what happens in the sessions ahead. Euro, Australian dollar. Euro, Australian dollar. So this, by the way, was a huge range, right? I'm going to go back to a higher time frame just so you could see it. Oh, not huge. It's going back, though, a few months, right? We've broken out of the range to the upside over there. You could see that resistance right over here has broken out now, and price has flown away. The comment came up this morning, Jordan, I don't like waiting for retests and then resumptions because sometimes the breakout gets away from me. Well, I don't like playing breakouts because it's only about 5% of the time they get away from me without giving me a retest and a resumption. And it's a really low probability trade. Trading a breakout is very low probability. Many more breakouts fail than stick without a pullback. But waiting for the breakout and then the retest and then the resumption up, well, that's a high probability trade. It doesn't always work out, but that's an enormous edge in the markets. So I do like that. This, however, you can see getting away. This is what the next training session's about, which is on Thursday. The email went out yesterday, the live training session for the Conquering the Markets group. And that's the trade, the entry that has no name, right? And that was what everyone asked that we talk about in the next trading session. So we will be talking about that in the next training session. Now, so again, instead of Tuesday as it normally is, I'm flying today. So we'll do that on Thursday. All right, let's see what we got over there. This is the Euro Swiss franc. We were watching this area of support. Price was trading sideways. It is broken down below that support over there. It has then been retested as resistance, resumed off, and is now coming up for another test again over there. All right. Again, that was green lit because it wasn't something that I was actively looking for a setup. Nevertheless, talking about what's going on. Let's see what else is going on. There, sounds good. That's the key right there. This is a game of patience and discipline. By the way, once you find out how to make money in the markets, discipline is the easiest thing in the world. You will have no problem sticking to your strategy. All of a sudden, you'll become the most disciplined trader. When traders talk about that they have no discipline, what they're saying is they don't have a strategy. That's exactly what they're saying. They don't have a strategy. They don't have an edge in the market that they know if they follow over and over again, they are profitable. What is the entry that has no name? Oz, that will be the topic of this week's training session. If you can't join us live, an email will be sent out with the replay. Let's check out the Euro Japanese yen. Very similar to what was going on here with the Swiss franc Japanese yen. And you could see over there that this came into the resistance. It never gave an entry short because it never made a lower low, and it's come back up over here. And again, is also coming into an area where I would be considering between the two. I would look at the Swiss franc Japanese yen. I would look at the Euro Japanese yen, which looks like a better shorting opportunity. If the resistance holds and it resumed off, I wouldn't take the both of them. All right. Nothing else to say or really going on over there. So let's keep going and really staying neutral is a great position to be in when it's called for sure. Thank you, William. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. This is the Euro New Zealand dollar. And the reason that it was on my list is because we were coming up into this trend line, which was resistance. You could see this was all support. When it broke, it was retested as resistance, resumed off, and then again was being retested and has popped up, right? So this is no longer, by the way, obviously set up for short. It never gave an entry. So I've looked at the last two pairs I looked at, Euro Japanese yen. I was watching for a setup, but it never gave the entry. That's protecting me. Over here on the Euro New Zealand dollar, I was watching for a setup, never gave an entry. Protected me again. This is a game changer though, because now this is what? I'm going to zoom out and I want you to see. Do you see how clearly this is set up for the long side now? Right? Why do I say that? This resistance over there, which price plowed through, if we come back in and retest either over here or this trend line coming up, that's going to give an opportunity for a long side trade. Probably not happening in the next 24 hours. Nevertheless, it could happen later in the week. Lawrence, the live sessions, the training sessions, they vary. They tend to be on Tuesdays. However, sometimes they're directly after the live session in the morning. Sometimes they're later in the evening, trying to give everyone an opportunity to be present for a live session that would like one. Nevertheless, the replays are sent out for all members who can't be there live to participate, as well as then all the past trading sessions are then available. Let's look at the pound Japanese yen. Jason, not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. This is the pound Japanese yen. So what I want you to focus in on right now in your mind was when we looked at the Swiss franc Japanese yen and then the euro Japanese yen. Those both looked very similar, right? Do you see how the pound Japanese yen also has that rising wedge, but looks a little bit weaker than both? So what that says to me, that if we were to trade to the downside, and I could look at the percentage, this is up 0.1%, the euro Japanese yen is up 0.6%, and then the Swiss franc Japanese yen is up, a 0.5%, a little bit more. So you could see the weakness looking at it that way as well. I could just look at the chart and see the weakness, right? So this might be out of those three pairs, which are offering a similar setup. If you get the trigger to the short side, which this is giving right now, right, into the support over there, that might be the one that you want to attack to the downside. Thank you, John. Thank you. So let's keep going over there. Yep, that is the next one, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, right? Why was that green flagged? Oh, so by the way, let's take a look at this. This is an important one. This is actually set up long today. I had this green, meaning I was just watching it. It wasn't set up. The reason it wasn't set up, I said yesterday, this is into the resistance right now, that resistance over there. This looks like a descending wedge, which is a bullish pattern. So I wasn't looking to short it over here, right? I said, this is exactly what I said in yesterday's live stream. I wasn't looking to short it over here, but if we get rejected into this trend line and that holds, I would be looking to buy over there. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this now to yellow because it played out exactly as I was looking for it. And now we'll see if we get possible resumption off of here. The reason I would take this buy off the support and not sell off the resistance over there is because if I zoom out a little bit, first of all, right, I take that back. I don't take that back. I am looking to go long over here. But as someone who would have been selling that resistance over there, if it was a student in my mind, I would be like, I could see what you're doing and I understand it. I wouldn't say you shouldn't be doing that, right? Because look at this big resistance over there, right? Coming back up, rejected by it. That's for a swing trader, we're sloping down in a downtrend. I see it. I am looking at this being a bullish continuation pattern though myself. I buy off the support. If this was a bull flag, I'd be buying off the support of the trend line. If it was a bear flag, I'd be selling off the upper resistance. Over here, if this holds, the reason why I would buy it was because as I come into that first area of resistance, I'm moving my stop loss to break even. I wouldn't take any profit. I would be pushing and I would be looking for the breakout to push that trade. On this side over here, I'm not looking for a breakdown. It could happen, but I'm not looking for that breakdown. I'm looking for that support to hold. Michael, this came up last week, and that came up in the training session actually. Listen, I've done it twice this whole year 2020. I've like, for example, let's say the euro US dollar was giving a buy signal and the euro Japanese yen was giving a sell signal. It's rare that I take it. I've done it twice this year. That stands out in my mind. The reason I take it is because, the worst case scenario is you're stopped out of both those trades. You're taking your full risk per trade loss, right? Now, you could also have, both those trades move their stop loss to break even and it's a non-event. You could also have one of those trades go out to its normal profit and the other one take a loss, and that puts you ahead. So again, the whole point of our strategy, of our edge, is that just knowing taking enough trades has you profitable trader. Would I take two opposing signals? It happens. I would not tell you not to do it, but I would tell you it's not a common occurrence. Any thoughts on why Bitcoin has been leading so hard? Well, Bitcoin always leads, right? Bitcoin leads on the way up, does the hard work. As gold leads, Bitcoin leads the rest of the market. And again, just be careful. Rising tide lifts all boats. Bitcoin is that rising tide that will lift the cryptocurrency market. But there's a big separation between Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, right? Well, Bitcoin is the only one that is currency. All right. Maybe hard forky. I don't know, but I do know as Bitcoin gets going, watch that wave of alts. They will pump hard, in my opinion. They will pump hard. John, so a couple of things. There is a separation, a distinction that I've always been clear about between FX and the indexes. All right. Two different, it's the same technique where you're trading price alone around support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns, no doubt. But there's a big distinction when it comes to the index. But trading, you have to be fluid. To be a trader, you have to be very adaptable, flexible. I always reserve the right, if I feel that the equity markets are setting up for a sell signal and or breaking down, that I don't play them the same way as FX to that regard. So I hope that answers your question or gives you that little bit of clarity. So this is the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. I was watching as price was up, coming towards that trend line, looking to see if we break out of that. And if we broke out of that trend line, that would open up the upside over there. That hasn't happened. I wasn't. I remember that quote yesterday, Digital Money. I thought of that yesterday in the afternoon. I do remember that. All right, so that's a look at or a review, and this is not obviously set up anymore. I'm just going to remove that flag. I was looking to see if we got above that resistance, opening up a chance to attack on the upside. That is not happening. What a sad thing that last year the Canadian bank wound up selling all its gold. Let's take a moment of silence. That was a pretty bad move over there, right? All right, what else? Let's take a look. Let's keep going over there. Let's now look across the rest of the markets and see if anything else is setting up that's of interest. Buy Bitcoin. So we looked at buying Bitcoin from a swing trader's perspective last week. Last week, we looked at where it was a place to buy Bitcoin, right? Do you buy now as price is moving up? No. Like this was the place we looked at about buying Bitcoin. I think it was Thursday. If you want to watch Thursday's live stream, when I said Bitcoin looks like the trade out of everything, right? Talked about stop loss, take profits. Why? Do I think you buy now? If you don't have a position in Bitcoin, my opinion, anything under $20,000 is still, you should still be accumulating dollar cost averaging in for sure. If my mom didn't have a position in Bitcoin right now, I'd be like, well, you should probably take, at least a third of the position you want to get and get into that right now. Probably a lot more than that, considering where we are in the cycle. At this point in time, I think if you don't have a Bitcoin position, you're playing catch up, right? Because we've spent the last year on this channel accumulating in. So TJ, big difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin, and that is that so Bitcoin is proven technology. Bitcoin is proven technology. Now it's software. There will be future updates. Room was just made for Taproot to be implemented. It, however, works and functions exactly as it should already right now. Ethereum is highly speculative technology, meaning like you could just listen to the founders. They're hoping it'll work. They're hoping it could scale, but they don't know that it will. And if you notice, the timeline for the upgrade, it keeps getting pushed back always. So that's why it's highly speculative. There's more room there for potential profit, perhaps, if it works out. But in my opinion, a small leveraged Bitcoin position is a lot stronger of an investment than buying into Ethereum. Alan, there's a link below for BlockFi. For the past 3 months, all of my purchases have come from BlockFi. It's my favorite way to purchase Bitcoin. It is seamless. It is super easy. It's like Coinbase, 4 years ago was like the easiest way it seemed to purchase Bitcoin. BlockFi is just a way better product, as well as, I avoid Coinbase for many, many reasons. Um, Cyber Samurai, I'm glad you picked up on that. All right, let's keep going over here. By the way, 1,000 people in here, 484 likes. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that very much. Let's keep going over here. Let's figure out what's going on as we look across the board. Let's see if there's anything else. I'm going to blow through the pairs that we haven't looked at yet just to see if there's something else that comes up. Jordan, I know you set your stop based on TA, but why do you have a limit on how wide you're willing to put your stop? Do I have a limit on how, on a swing trader's perspective, I don't have a limit about how far I put my stop loss. I don't have any type of rule about how far I'm putting my stop loss. Now, a couple of thoughts on that though that are very important. Your position size is based off how far away your stop loss is. Number one, keep that in mind. But if I see, if I have my stop loss really wide, that means my take profit has to be really far away, right? So, it's got to be reasonable. So, yeah, let's take a look at Chainlink. Yeah, QBTC is like the GBTC of Canada. This is Chainlink, by the way. Again, over here is this trend line over there. We were watching and waiting. We looked at it over here, and then we were waiting for the breakout of the trend line. It came over there. You did have a retest and then a breakout. I'm waiting for this number over here, 13, to break before Chainlink really starts breaking out to the upside. What does it look like now today, right? So I just see consolidation after the big breakout. Resumption. The resumption wasn't able to take out the last swing high, and now we're actually making a lower low and or just taking out some stops over here. So what's my opinion on that? What's your opinion on that? Looking at that, right? We had the breakout, the retest. That was a huge move there. Since then, we started consolidating, right? Broke out of that little bit of a channel. Never made a higher swing high, which, in itself is not bullish. And then so far have been making a lower swing low, which is near-term bearish. What happens next? I don't know. It's anyone's guess, in my opinion. It's still kind of sideways. The fact that you took out perhaps some swing stops over there, if you resume off of here now, that would be quite bullish. That would give you some fire, right? Getting out those weak hands right there. But I can't say that this looks bullish right now, or that it's giving any indication that I want to lean into buy, right? That was very nervous. You're leaning into support and the bottom trend line buy. This was the safe high probability buy. Right now over here, I don't know. I don't see any edge whatsoever. Let's check out Ethereum also. Yeah, I think the only grayscale product that I would buy is and have bought is the GPTC. TJ, 50% of my portfolios are already in physical Bitcoin. Looking at, yeah. So, all right, awesome. So Ethereum, from a swing trader's perspective, right? We were following this trend line that was not only showing, it was showing on Bitcoin, it was showing on Ethereum, and it was showing all across the altcoins over there, right? Ethereum had the nice breakout, came back in, right? Is that a retest and a resumption? Not clean. Came into the important resistance at over here at 390, and I say important resistance because I believe above there, Ethereum is really going to start running. I believe above 390 is when Ethereum's going to start running, and I believe it'll come into 500 pretty quickly from there. Now, so what happens? You see this channel over here. You broke out of the channel. You had a retest, a break, a resumption up. Never made, just like on Chainlink, never made the higher swing high. Came back down and is currently testing that broken resistance. See if it holds us support again, and also into the support over here. I mean, if I wanted to be like, but if this was a FX pair, I would stay aside. This is not an FX pair. This is a cryptocurrency pair, which technically, fundamentally, which is also based off technicals, about to enter alt season. I have that in the back of my mind, and that influences my decision over here. There's no question about it, right? So let's just play it out a couple of different ways. If you start resuming off here, you can see that you're testing that trend line over there. If you do resume off of there, is that a place that you want to take a buy right into the resistance? The one good thing about it is you know where your stop loss would be. Your stop loss would actually be below tight stop loss, right below the low of this bar right over here, right? Not even below that support over there, right below the bar. You have a tight stop loss. You're coming right into the resistance right away. No big deal. I happen to think that if we take another run at that resistance, it's going to break this time, meaning that we made a higher high than that last swing high over there. It's iffy, it's iffy. Is it important to you to be taking entry, for example, right over there at 37.80 as opposed to $10 higher above 30.90, right? And well, what happens if you get, what happens if it just runs away? I mean, that's possible. This is something you need to consider. It doesn't normally happen like that. Normally you're going to get a retest and then any entry above 390. Well, I feel really confident about that. I feel good about that. Do I feel good about an entry right over here, or do I feel that it's a little forced, right? Is it worth the $10, the $15 to be, So that's the way I see it, right? And that's pretty strong analysis. Not good that we didn't make the higher high right over here, that we put in a lower high over there. But like Chainlink was making the lower low over there, and Ethereum's not. Ethereum so far is not making a lower swing low, where Chainlink was making that lower swing low, right? So you could see that, well, Ethereum looks healthier than Chainlink at the moment, right? Now, you could also talk about, like, in 2020, Ethereum's outperformed Bitcoin. Chainlink has outperformed Bitcoin, right? But, but if you look at the drawdown, the recent drawdown, yeah, well, Chainlink had a bigger drawdown than Ethereum. It also had a bigger drawdown than Bitcoin. Ethereum had a bigger drawdown than Bitcoin, So that's everything you got to weigh in there. All right? So it's not clear, but those are your options. It's clear above 390. Gold and silver are just consolidating right now. You're consolidating in a triangle. You're waiting for a breakout, right? There is no trade right now whatsoever. You could see that we're consolidating. There's a breakout to the upside, starts getting you involved on long side trades there in a technical break. Easy, beautiful. A breakdown, well, I would just stand aside and just wait. Sideways markets, avoid them. Avoid sideways markets. What else do we need to look at? Let's go through FX over here. All right. Let's keep going just to see if there's anything on this Turnaround Tuesday that's sticking out that says, hey, let me flag this for a setup over there. So it's interesting before my support and resistance lines pop up to get a quick look at the market. Is this a possible? Does anyone see this? Is that a descending wedge that's possibly forming over there? Or am I forcing that down? I didn't mean that. Let me go ahead and use trend lines over there to show you. Yep. I mean, I don't like the lagging computer business, right? Is that a descending wedge? I don't think so. I think if it was, we've just broken down the lower portion over there. If I connect this point to this point, we've just broken down below there. Nothing to see there. Keep moving. Keep moving along. Kips is all over that Australian dollar. Let's call it tip yesterday. Kips is all over that Australian dollar. Doesn't flow. Tip. Australian dollar, Swiss franc. I see not too much. A huge breakdown. I see a breakdown of support into the resistance. Watching that channel and it's just bleeding out. Nothing for me to see there. Oz, see you later. If you're following Tesla, if you're looking at Tesla, if you're looking at individual stocks, right now you should also be looking at the indexes, and use them as a guide. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. This is when a lot of people got into the trade over there, right? This was the New York entry over there as we were on the live stream. It bled out down, consolidated, right? And is resuming off, making a lower low, looking good, looking better than the Australian dollar, US dollar. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Not much to see here that I want to be able to talk about today. Australian dollar, US dollar, right? We looked at that in the beginning of the session, Diane. If you go back towards the beginning of the session, and if you look in the middle as you're pulling back on the stream, you'll see in the center screen the pair name Australian dollar, US dollar. Look for it. As soon as we started getting into FX, we first looked at the Australian dollar, New Zealand, and then we looked at the Australian dollar, US dollar. I don't have the liberty today, as we're getting ready here for the flight, to go ahead and do that. Tomorrow, when I'm back in my office, we could do that with ease using the good setup. Ethan, glad you're here with us. Do I ever look into interest rate futures? I do not ever. I don't trade them. They don't come into my analysis. They don't affect my analysis. Therefore, I don't use them. The VIX also. The VIX does not affect my analysis. So I don't, one of my edges in the market, you'll notice I don't even look at volume. One of my greatest edges in the market is simplifying something so complicated, right? Is simplifying down something so complicated. Those are great markets for a lot of traders. They don't come into my analysis at all. Euro, Canadian dollar, nothing else to see here as well. And again, the ones that I have yellow and flag that we already looked at, there was a reason for that. As Angel, we looked at the indexes in the very beginning of the live stream. We looked at Bitcoin first, then the S&P 500, then the Nasdaq, then the Dow, then the Russell. If you want to look at the Russell, pull back into the live stream. Euro, British pound here is now giving a possible setup over here. Could everyone see that we're breaking out to the upside of that bull flag outside of that channel? I laugh at you. So you can see this bull flag over here. We've broken out of it, right? If we get a successful retest now, as we're backing off of that resistance, that's why that resistance is there. If that resistance holds and we get a successful retest, does that open up a buy entry here on the Euro Japanese yen? Is that something with the ongoing situation that I would like to be involved with? I have to say, this opens up the door for me. This does open up for the door. I will be watching and waiting. By the way, if we close above this resistance over here, I'm not calling out levels right now. I will tomorrow at 1.1913. Again, that also opens up a safe trade to the upside over there. Breaking out of this consolidation pattern here to the upside now offers possible opportunity if, and only if, because look, breakouts, they fail a lot. This could fall right back into the channel. That will be a non-event. That's why we protect ourselves. No, I don't think so, Tony. When I say be cautious on Bitcoin, or when you talk about being cautious, we're always aware of our downside risk, right? Anyone who took the Bitcoin trade that we pointed out last week, the swing trade, when you know, said is the best looking thing in the market. Anyone who took that trade, we had our original stop loss. That stop loss, now that we took out the resistance, has moved to break even. You can't be much more cautious than holding a position with a stop loss now at break even, right? You're good to go. All right, let's keep going. Euro US dollar. I don't have an opinion on the bond market. I don't follow the bond market. I don't trade the bond market. I don't have an opinion on the bond market. Um Here you can see over here on the Euro US dollar was still having trouble breaking that resistance. Flip the DXY in your mind. You saw the morning in the morning the DXY was holding that support, that channel trendline support, and here you have the Euro US dollar holding that resistance, having trouble getting above it. But just like the DXY is in no man's land, so is the Euro US dollar. And you can see now it's been quite a while since we've been sideways. We're probably going to remain so until we get some type of resolution with the stimulus, and or if in a couple of weeks the elections become a risk event. How does the dollar react into a geopolitical risk event that involves the United States of America? We're about to find out. I don't know. I do think that gold will probably be a stronger risk off trade. I think that the Japanese yen will be a stronger risk off trade in that type of situation. Jordan, do you have to take profit set in place for Bitcoin? The 40% you talked about. Thanks, Tim. It's all the way up. It's when I say all the way up, I'll show you. One market is too heavily manipulated to trade. Well, I trade many markets, Anthony. You can see over here. I'm looking at all of FX. I'm looking at cryptocurrency, and I'm looking at U.S. equities. So I agree. We wanted to see upside targets here on Bitcoin, right? Now that this was the entry, we've broken the near resistance. Let's take a look at it. By the way, thank you all for still spending this time with me. Even though we don't have our perfect setup over here, even though we're working from a disadvantage today. Thanks for putting in the time with me. I appreciate it very much. What's your take on a BTC equity market correlation, Simon? There are certain periods of the cycle where there's a heavy correlation between equity markets and Bitcoin. And then there are certain points of the cycle, as we'll be entering, it's towards the end of the first quarter coming up. We're not far away, right, of 2021, when you're going to see that correlation break heavily. And we've already seen signs of it breaking over the past 6 weeks or so. That will continue, but it's after the first quarter of 2021. Those next 9 months, you're going to see a massive breakdown of that correlation. And that breakdown will continue in Bitcoin's bear market phase. You could have U.S. equities making all-time highs during that period. Bitcoin's going to come off substantially, 80-85% in its bear market, right? So that correlation will break. Right now, the next thing that we're looking for is for actually Bitcoin to make a new swing high. We looked at Chainlink on an 8-hour time frame. We saw that it didn't just recently make a swing high after the breakout. We saw that Ethereum didn't make a higher high. We're looking for Bitcoin to make a higher high over here and targeting that 40%. That was the question. Right around this area over here of around 13,000. This trendline resistance, and then follow my mouse over to the left. You also have this bit of resistance over there. That's a good place to take off for that swing trade that we're looking at, not a position trade. I'm not taking off my Bitcoin position trades. I've got positioned into them. Over here, around that 1,300, right around that trend line, wherever we come in at the point. Right now, it could be like 12,800, depending on how quick we get there. 12,850. It depends on how quick we get into there. If we don't get in there for another 2 weeks, it could be higher than 13 That trend line coinciding with that resistance. By the way, once we clear this resistance here to the upside, that's when Bitcoin is going to be running towards 18,000. So there we are. Damio, thanks for all you do. You say you take 2 to 3, I average 3 trades a week. There has been, since September, I traded less during that consolidation. Could you show when you're in and out at the bottom of your screen with the symbols? No, I don't show you my trades. By the way, my students and many of my students are profitable traders. If I do that, they're not learning themselves. They only care about what trades I'm positioning into. And instead of them focusing on, first of all, learning a skill themselves, they are only concerned in trying to piggyback off of what I do. I have students who outperform me on certain months. So I don't think that's a wise. I think it's a detrimental thing to do. Instead of people focusing on what they need to do to further themselves, they're just focused on what I'm doing. This is not like, I don't think you could be successful using like an alert service. It's impossible. Thank you, Model 3 Life. Thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. Let's see what else we're looking at over there. Colin, thanks, brother. I love the picture over there up in the mountains. Love the mountains myself. Any time spent over there is cherished time. You got it, Alan. Absolutely, Timothy. And by the way, I mean, Timothy, along those lines, I understand probably more than anyone, or at least I have that respect about how extraordinarily difficult the markets are, and the fact that you could, take 10 people, because you have people who are, some people, they don't have that initiative. Certain people aren't looking to grow. Certain people don't put whatever time in is needed, right? You could have 10 people join the gym with the same program, and you're going to have a certain amount of those people who don't use that time. You're going to have a certain amount of people who follow the instruction, work with the trainer, and they thrive. It's the same exact thing for anything, but to take in the markets, to have something, and trading is nuanced. To try to tie it down to a black and white thing is very difficult in itself. That is genius. But to be able to take the opportunity of 10 people, and 4 of those people, within 3 to 5 weeks or break even or better, and then moving on and constantly profiting from the markets, that's insanity right there. That's some turtle stuff. Thanks very much, my brother. I look forward to tomorrow's session. There will not be an afternoon session today. I will not have an afternoon update. We're going to be traveling and then, arriving home to all those kids. Tomorrow morning, we'll have the live stream for sure. And then after that, we'll have our regular afternoon updates as well. What else? I still want to look around here a little bit further, right? And see what's going on. And I'm going to start here looking at the equity markets. I see that S&P following through. Nasdaq still lagging over there. Russell leading the way. Gold and silver still doing nothing. Bitcoin up towards the highs of this day. Link barely off its lows. Still not getting that follow through from the rest of the cryptocurrency markets. Let me take a look over here at some pound pairs to see what they're doing right now. Ooh, Greg. Wow, that's some boss stuff right there. The market is the master. That's absolutely correct. Greg, in this week's training session where we're talking about going over the entry that has no name, we're going to need your help. We're going to need some lingo. And I'll in the training session, I'll tell you why and what I'm talking about. We have, obviously the breakout retest resumption. I was trying to work out the flow like that this morning, but I know that you're better suited for that than myself. Pound US dollar, I see it coming towards the top of a range. That's that weak Australian dollar. This is interesting. When I say this is interesting, because I'm looking at the euro breaking out against the pound, but the pound set to break out versus the Australian dollar. Nothing more than making an observation. Peter, absolutely. Thank you them making an observation. Nothing going on the pound Canadian dollar. Nothing going on. So the pairs that were already yellow flag and set up, a lot of them still are. This is interesting. Pound New Zealand dollar. This is breaking above an important resistance area. This is actually setting up a long. All right, let me go ahead and flip that over just so when my eyes see it, when I come back tonight and I'm looking to see if there's anything I want to enter, my brain is able to process it a lot quicker and cleaner. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time to let me know that. Thank you for that. Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for that. So what else? Pound US dollar. Let me take a look over here. I just see no man's land, right? I just see like the DXY. I see no man's land all day long over there. Do not want to get involved in that whatsoever. Let me check out just a couple of New Zealand dollar pairs over here. Pound Canadian dollar, also in no man's land. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Also, again, I unflagged that. There's nothing going on there. I was looking if we got a breakout over there, possibly. And the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Let me check it out. Noisy. I don't like it. Yeah, we'll check out nickel for sure right now. Of course. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Some of you jumped on that entry. I didn't. Not much follow through yet. We'll also check out Tesla. We'll check out nickel. We'll check out Tesla. And copper continues to pump. So I'm going to come back to the 12-hour before I go to the 3. Oh, start on the 3-day just to give that longer term perspective here on nickel. And so we're coming into that resistance area. By the way, bullish, making that higher swing high. Bullish coming into that area of resistance right now. I think that obviously over here, so a couple of things. I think that the whole reason Kip's brought this trade to our attention, this is definitely a longer term trade over here, right? Taking profits over here, I think that you'd be like stepping on your own feet. It's not that you'd want to take profit over here, right? What happens if you did, for example, and no one that I know took this trade. What happens if you bought off this support over here, right? Would you take profit over here, right? I mean, you would now have this trade locked in. Do you take 10% off over here? I don't know, right? Ultimately here, this trade is still just getting started, obviously. But right now, from a swing trader's standpoint, as you come into that resistance over there, you have to watch out. A break above that resistance, that opens up new buy entries, by the way. But right now, you're coming into an area of resistance. It just looks super and uber healthy. But watch yourself now as you come into that area of resistance. I want to take a look really quick at copper, which continues to pump before we look at Tesla. Thank you, the Conflicted Canuck. Love the name. Thank you for that. Copper making new swing highs over here, right? Again, just keep this in the back of your mind. Someone was pointed out. They're like, Jordan, I don't like the steepness of the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. This is a pretty steep, similar angle over there, right here on copper, as you saw right now on the S&P and the Nasdaq. Very similar angle. The breakout, right, and now making it a swing high. It's very bullish. This also opens up new opportunity now to establish new positions as you're breaking out over here on a hold, a retest, and a resumption up. So copper kind of also in play again now. Let's highlight that. And copper looking uber healthy. Notice that as gold and silver are still consolidating, we're getting the leaders leading. Palladium, platinum, copper, nickel. That's bullish for the metals overall. Oh, Tesla, I didn't get a chance to look at it. Maybe, Gary, but the pain trade, the hard trade is to the upside. And everyone keeps looking for those pullbacks. 5%? Sure. So Tesla, by the way, looks pretty bullish over here. Why does it look bullish? Jordan, that doesn't look bullish. We're coming to an important trend line over there. And I've always said a breakdown below that trend line, that would open up us starting to look to attack to the downside. That's completely in play. That could happen, but I'm looking at this from breakout, retest. Remember over here, I said, look, I'm not taking this one. It is not clear to me. I want to be on the record that I'm not taking it. Good thing we're coming back down, testing it. A resumption off here. That's still good. This has both ways right now. I'm glad we looked at Tesla, by the way, because this is when we need to start getting involved in Tesla. A breakout over here, a resumption up and starting to make new highs. That brings up a good and clean entry to the long side on Tesla. If we break down over here and watch these two peaks, right? Because a couple of times we've peaked down. So we're not looking just for we don't sell the breakdowns, but we would sell a retest and then a resumption. And that will be something that we will be actively looking at Tesla if that happens. At the same time over here, a resumption up over here, that sets up a long trade. Tesla's completely in play right now. Tesla's completely in play. Head Snack. By the way, we have a special guest appearance over here. Head Snack, he is the legend who has gone ahead and put together our beats over here for the intro. Head Snack, enormous shout out. The legend Head Snack. Do check out his channel, Head Snack. And you know, soon he's been waiting on me. He has got a full track waiting for us. I need to get him some sound bites and some video to include into that. That's coming. So we're going to end on that note. We got a plane to catch. That's right. Head Snack, the one and only. Thanks for, you know, I love those beats. It gets everyone amped up. I love the intro. Great, grateful for it. All right, everyone, we got a plane to catch. I will not be doing an afternoon update, but I will see you all tomorrow morning. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. That's right. Great, great tunes. Yeah. That's right. He's the one who did it. He's the one who did that. We're headed home today. We're headed home. Hey, thanks everyone. Thanks so much. Have a beautiful day. God bless, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.